Did you know that from humble beginnings, one small tribe was able to build an empire that spanned 3 continents? Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to explore the fascinating story of the Crescent Empire and how this small tribe went on to create a dynasty that lasted over 600 years. Make sure to stay tuned because this story is one you won't want to miss. In the late 13th century, the Anatolian peninsula was a melting pot of cultures and a battleground for empires. To the west was the decaying Byzantine Empire, while to the east, the mighty Mongol hordes had recently swept through the region, leaving it fractured and vulnerable. Amidst this chaos, a small Turkish tribe called the Oghuz Kai migrated west from their Central Asian homeland, seeking refuge and new opportunities. The arrival of the Aghuz, along with other Turkic groups like the Seljuks and the Khwarezmians, marked the beginning of a new era in Anatolia. These nomadic tribes brought with them a distinct language, culture, and traditions that would profoundly shape the region's history. Over time, these Turkish tribes intermixed with local populations and absorbed elements of Byzantine, Persian, and Arabic culture, giving rise to a unique blend of traditions and customs. Among these various Turkish principalities, or beyliks, as they were known, one emerged as a beacon of hope in a sea of chaos: the Beylik of Osman, named after its founder, Osman I. This small but ambitious state was nestled in the rugged plateaus and valleys of northwest Anatolia. Osman I, the son of Ertugrul, was born into a world defined by constant struggle. Life on the Anatolian frontier was a precarious existence, marked by the threat of attack from neighboring principalities and the looming presence of the Byzantine Empire, which still held significant power in the region. In this environment, Osman and his tribe of Oghuz Turks relied on a combination of warfare, diplomacy, and trade to survive and thrive. Osman, however, wasn't content with simply surviving. He inherited a small band of about 7,000 warriors from his father, and under his leadership, they evolved into a force to be reckoned with. Osman's warriors, known as the Ghazis, were a mix of nomadic horsemen and newly settled villagers who shared a common devotion to Islam and a desire for independence from Byzantine rule. Their society was egalitarian, encouraging meritocracy and social mobility regardless of one's birth. Through strategic marriages, Osman formed alliances with neighboring principalities, consolidating his power base and laying the groundwork for a larger state. Furthermore, Osman and his Ghazi warriors began to target the weakening Byzantine forces, launching surprise attacks against their castles and trading caravans. These successful raids instilled a sense of unity and purpose among the Ottoman Turks, fostering a growing sentiment of collective identity, separate from their Byzantine overlords. Key to their success was the establishment of the Beylerbeyli, a loose administrative council composed of local tribal leaders who assisted in governing the expanding state and collecting taxes from conquered territories. Despite setbacks like the Mongol invasion led by Batur Khan, Osman persevered. His efforts bore fruit when he secured the allegiance of the neighboring Kai and the Afshar tribes, boosting his numbers to around 30,000 men. By the time of his death in 1326, Osman had laid the foundation for an empire, one that would come to dominate the Mediterranean world. Osman's son Orhan took the reins of the burgeoning Ottoman state and quickly set about turning his father's small principality into a formidable empire. Recognizing the importance of urban centers, Orhan focused his attention on capturing Bursa, a major Byzantine city located in northwest Anatolia. After a 2-year siege, Orhan successfully captured Bursa in 1326, marking the first significant territorial expansion of the Ottoman Empire. The capture of Bursa not only solidified Ottoman control in Anatolia, but also provided them with a strategic gateway to Europe. It was here that Orhan officially established the capital of the Ottoman Empire, laying the groundwork for the state's administrative, economic, and cultural center. Orhan continued to expand Ottoman territory by conquering the cities of Nicomedia and Iznik, as well as several fortresses along the Sea of Marmara. This strategic expansion ensured Ottoman dominance in the region and bolstered their naval capabilities, enabling them to control crucial maritime trade routes. Additionally, Orhan implemented administrative reforms aimed at centralizing power and establishing a more formal bureaucratic system. He also introduced measures to promote trade and economic growth, laying the foundations for a thriving merchant class. Furthermore, Orhan recognized the strategic value of the cavalry and founded the Sipahi, a feudal military order composed of local Turkish chieftains who were granted land in exchange for military service. The establishment of the Spahes marked a significant step towards the creation of a standing Ottoman army. Perhaps Orhan's most lasting contribution to the Ottoman Empire was the creation of the Janissary Corps. This elite military unit comprised of elite infantry troops who were handpicked, trained, and bound to the Sultan. These fierce and disciplined soldiers played a pivotal role in securing many Ottoman victories and became a symbol of Ottoman military might for centuries. By the time of Orhan's death in 1362, the Ottoman Empire had grown significantly, establishing a solid foundation for its future expansion into Europe and the Middle East. His reign marked a crucial turning point in Ottoman history, transforming a small principality into a powerful and dynamic empire. Suleiman the Magnificent's rise to power was marked by both triumph and tragedy. Upon ascending the throne in 1520, he inherited a vast empire that stretched from Hungary to the Arabian Peninsula. However, his early reign was overshadowed by the loss of his first wife and the rebellious actions of his son, Mustafa, who challenged his authority. Suleiman's response to these challenges demonstrated his ruthlessness and determination to maintain control. He executed Mustafa and his supporters, cementing his power over the empire. Suleiman's reign witnessed unprecedented territorial expansion, particularly in the Balkans and the Middle East. His armies achieved significant victories against the Hungarians, solidifying Ottoman control over southeastern Europe. Concurrently, Suleiman led campaigns in the Middle East, conquering Jerusalem and Damascus, and extending Ottoman influence over vast regions. This expansionist policy firmly established Suleiman as one of the most formidable rulers of his time. Known as the Lawgiver, Suleiman enacted comprehensive legal and administrative reforms that profoundly impacted the Ottoman Empire. He reorganized the judicial system, standardized laws, and implemented measures to enhance public order and security. These reforms contributed to the creation of a more efficient and centralized state apparatus. Suleiman also patronized the arts and sciences, fostering a cultural renaissance during his reign. He commissioned numerous architectural masterpieces, including mosques, palaces, and public buildings, many of which are still standing today. Furthermore, Suleiman's court was a hub of intellectual activity, attracting scholars and artists from across the empire. Suleiman's empire reached its zenith under his rule, becoming a prosperous and influential center of trade and diplomacy. However, this prosperity and complexity also sowed the seeds of the empire's eventual decline. Internal power struggles, economic disparities, and increasing corruption gradually eroded the Ottoman state's strength. Nevertheless, Suleiman's legacy as one of the greatest rulers in history remained intact. His contributions to law, governance, architecture, and culture left an indelible mark on the Ottoman Empire and the wider world. Upon his death in 1566, the Ottoman Empire entered a period of gradual decline that would ultimately lead to its demise. While the empire continued to endure for centuries, it never again reached the heights of power and prosperity achieved during Suleiman's reign. Various factors contributed to this decline, including internal power struggles, economic challenges, and the rise of external threats. Nonetheless, the Ottoman Empire persisted, adapting and evolving until its dissolution in the early 20th century. The fall of the Ottoman Empire was a complex process that unfolded over several decades and involved both internal and external factors. One significant contributor to the empire's decline was the increasing influence of European powers in the Mediterranean and the Middle East. As European nations grew stronger, they began to challenge Ottoman dominance in the region. By the 18th century, the Ottoman Empire faced significant territorial losses to Russia, Austria, and other European rivals. Moreover, the empire's inability to keep up with the rapid pace of industrialization and technological advancements in Europe further weakened its position. Internally, the Ottoman Empire grappled with a series of power struggles and palace intrigues that distracted from its problems and hindered effective governance. Corruption, inefficiency, and factionalism among the ruling elite undermined the state's ability to address pressing issues. By the 19th century, the empire's economic and military resources were stretched thin, making it vulnerable to external pressures. Despite attempts at reform and modernization, the Ottoman Empire's decline continued. The First World War proved to be the final blow. When the Ottomans sided with the Central Powers, they faced defeat and occupation by Allied forces. In 1922, the The Turkish War of Independence, led by Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, resulted in the abolition of the Ottoman Sultanate, marking the end of the empire's rule. The legacy of the Ottoman Empire is a complex and multifaceted one. While the empire's longevity and cultural achievements are widely recognized, its decline and eventual fall have also been subjects of extensive historical analysis. Historians have examined the empire's territorial expansion, its administrative and legal reforms, as well as its cultural contributions. Furthermore, the interaction between the Ottomans and the West has been a prominent theme in Ottoman studies, exploring the cultural exchanges and power struggles that shaped the relationship between the two regions. Despite its fall, the impact of the Ottoman Empire on world history remains profound, influencing art, architecture, literature, and political thought across continents. The story of the Crescent Empire is a testament to the power of unity, ambition, and adaptability. The Ottoman Empire, born out of humble beginnings, rose to become a dominant force in the Mediterranean world, shaping the course of history for centuries. Now it's time to hear from you. What did you find most interesting about the Ottoman Empire's rise to power? And what are your thoughts on Suleiman the Magnificent's contributions to the empire? Share your thoughts in the comments below.